I will use a Starbucks as an example of the contribution ladder, which is a key principle for all leaders. Imagine you took a 60 seconds videos of some baristas working at your local Starbucks. And then I ask a manager to point out all the contributions that those baristas made in those 60 seconds. And some managers might point out at the number of coffees that they produce. That would be only the first step of the contribution ladder. If you do that, you would get baristas that maybe make more coffee per hour, but maybe you would also get not such good quality of coffee and they might not really like their job. Some other managers will point out the nice coffee that they make. Maybe they made a flat white with a nice latte art on top, or maybe they drew a little swan. That will be the second level of the contribution ladder, the quality of the product. If you did that, you will get a little bit more engagement. You will get people that care not only about quantity of output, but also quality of output. But still, you will be lacking in some very important ways. Some other managers would instead point out at the reactions of the customers. Look, that customer smiled when he was handed out that nicely designed latte. Look, that other customer had their day made when they were called by their first name. That's the third level of the contribution ladder, the contribution that they make to the day of their customers. And if you point out this, you get a more engaged team, a team that likes their work more, that puts the effort not to make a good job at what's measurable, but also at what's non-measurable. Still, there is a fourth step of the contribution ladder, which is if you also point out the contribution that each barista makes to the other baristas. For example, you can point out the barista that helped the other barista operate the machine. If you do that, that's when you will get a team of people which feels like a team, where they start helping each other, when they start giving feedback to each other, which is great because as a manager, you're busy and you cannot be the only one doing this job. So these were the 4 steps of the contribution ladder. Then I got asked by some people in a podcast I recorded earlier today how I would do this exercise if I were the manager at Starbucks. What I will do is that I would observe for 10 minutes the work of the baristas, of the cashiers, and then I will call a short timeout, or a bit like a basketball style where everyone congregates in a small circle. And the 30 seconds, I will point out the contributions that I saw people making. I will say something like, Alex, you made a beautiful latte art. Amelia, I loved when you called the customer by first name. You made her smile so hard. John, I loved how you helped our new trainee Mark operate the new machine. You do that, and already you will increase the engagement of your people, and you will give everyone implicitly some next action that they can do to increase their contribution. Then I will do something else for 10 minutes, and then I will come back, observe for another minute all the new contribution that people are doing. Then I will call another short 30-second timeout, and I will call out those positive new contribution that they are making. I will show them that not only their contribution was noted, but also their improvements were noted, and I will make them notice again the impact that their contribution are making. And that's the moment you will get a much more engaged team, a team that will care more about them, about themselves, their work, about the work of others, about the impact they make on their clients. And that would have been probably the best 10 minutes everyone had on their job over the last year. So this is just the power of explaining the contribution ladder to your people, but not in a theoretical way, just by pointing out the good that they're making, showing them the impact they're making, and not just the impact on the numbers of the company, not just on the quality of the company, not just on the impact that they're making on the customers, but also on the impact that they're making on each other. And if you do that, you will get a team that's more engaged and cares more about each other. And then in the podcast, I got a last question, which was, how would I do it if I were in a remote company where you cannot really observe the work of your people very easily. So what I will do is that for one day, I will take a small notepad and write down every single contribution I see people making. For example, if I'm on the Slack channel and I see someone making a positive contribution, no matter how small, I would write it down. Then maybe I join a sales call with a customer, and if I see my salesperson doing something good, a good contribution, I write it down in my notepad. Then maybe I join a team meeting, and if someone asks a good question, I write it down in my notepad. Then maybe I have a one-on-one, and if one of my people did something good, I note it down. If during the one-on-one they have a good suggestion, I write it down. Then at the end of the day, I call out a 15-minute team call or on Zoom or something similar, and then I simply go through my notepad. I make them notice all the good contribution that everyone made. I make them know the impact that they made on the quantity of their output, on the quality of their output, on the customers, and on their colleagues. And that doesn't take much time. It takes 15 minutes. It does make a very significant impact on the morale of your team, on the growth of your team, on the agency of your team, on the care of your team. And simply, it might make one of the best days that they had on their job just because they see the little things noticed finally.